Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that addresses all your stock related queries. We are just 2 days away from the upcoming budget. Are there still any questions on the stocks that you should be having? Well, you can address it to our top market experts today on the show. The WhatsApp number is flashing on your screens. This is where you can send in your name, location and your contact details. We can also give you an opportunity to speak live to our top market guests and also get a custom made advice for yourself as well. Right now, if we look at the markets currently, they are in a better shape. We are above 23,200 mark. In fact, we are now half odd percent higher at 23,267. A lot of pockets are actually showing us an uptick today. We have the realty stocks that are up by 2%. You have the pharma stocks that are up, oil and gas, metals, infra, even the broader markets are showing us some recovery in the markets today. So let's welcome our guest on board to help you understand the market strategy, and your stock queries will be answered too. We have with us Mr. Akshay Bhagwat, the Senior Vice President of Derivatives Research at JM Financial Services, now joining in. Hi Akshay, warm welcome and good to have you with us. Well, yes, just like I said, 2 days away from the big budget that's going to be unveiled on Saturday this time around. Are there any expectations that you have or the market investors should have from this upcoming budget?
Good afternoon, Sakshi. So yes, these are trying times, and the only relief part for the market participants is the action which we have seen in the last couple of days.
Yes.
Some relief from the levels of 22,800. Now, really, it's how this relief rally plays out from here. But at least gauging from the data points, the chart perspective, it is 23,500 which has to be taken out, which gives us a confirmation that a bottom has been formed. As of now, it's a preemption. Looking at the broader setup of the market, the probability looks high that there can be a bottom formed somewhere around the level of 800, but it's still the early stages. For the budget day, yes, the themes one should be looking forward to is the rural consumption theme, infrastructure, cement. These are the top themes one should be looking for, because that's the area where the government is expected to increase its spending, and that should bode well for these stocks in these sectors.
Right. Akshay, you rightly talked about the markets. Let's also welcome a whole host of our viewers who are joining in with their questions now. We have Ranjit Bhatia, Tekpal Bhatia, we have Jai Rami Reddy. We also have with us Avdesh Thakur, Vinita, Imtiaz, all of them joining in early with their questions. So warm welcome to all of you. We'll start taking your questions, and in between we can keep coming back to Akshay with respect to the budget strategies too. Ranjit first asks you a view on Jush Engineering. He needs a long-term view here, and for a fresh entry perspective. Now, Jush Engineering today is down by about 1%. In the last 1 month, it's been a sideways momentum. In the last 6 months odd, there has been uptick of about 10 odd percent, and in the last 1 year the stock has actually given about a 60-62% return to investors. Do you track this one at all, Akshay?
Yeah, I was looking at the charts of this stock, and I believe really from a medium to long term perspective, there is no reason to worry for. It's just the short term phase where the stock has been a bit choppy, and the markets have been rough. That's the fact which we have all been dealing with in the last 2-3 months,
Yeah.
and it should be good that at least Just Engineering has not fallen much or corrected much. It's just that it's been restricted in a range. So my sense is it's a very strong setup still on the price chart. 500, 520 is a very strong support zone from medium to long term. It is a stock which you need to give time, have minimum 1 year plus horizon, and probably targets of 700 plus will be in the making. So
Okay.
the advice is to hold the stock.
Okay, the advice is to hold the stock. Let's take another one. This one is from another of our viewers, Tekpal Bhatia. He says, what is the current scenario looking like in new gen software, and what should my strategy be? I think that's also for a fresh entry perspective. Now, these mid-cap IT firms were actually doing much better before this DeepSeek, issue came in. That led to some losses on some of the stocks here, but they are also on course to recover. Stocks like NetWeb, NewGen, or even Anantraj, they are on course to recover from those, in knee-jerk reactions as well. But particularly on NewGen software, how does the chart really appeal to you right now?
So absolutely, the DeepSeek news has been a very pain point for most of the stocks in this
Yeah.
segment. and many stocks have borne the brunt of selling in the last 4 or 5 sessions. So clearly the momentum is off, and even if you're thinking of some recovery, it's just going to be a relief rally recovery here and there. But eventually the news is there, it stays, and there's a competition to this industry that is pretty apparent. So the
Yeah.
advice is, at least going by the chart structure of Newgen Tech Software Technologies, the recommendation is to take an exit. Now the exit point is slightly on a rally near possibly 1150 range. There is a good probability you may get it soon. At that point, the suggestion is to take an exit. But clearly, exit is the suggestion in this stock.
Okay, got that. Let's take another one. This question is on the two stocks from one of our viewers, and this question is on Raymond and on Titagarh Rail Systems. And the question is, can I invest right now, or should I continue to hold my position? There is no suggestion on what was the price of entry on either of those, but existing position is there, and the viewer wants to know whether fresh investments are warranted. Now, Raymond definitely reported earnings, and Ritagarh Rail has been in momentum because the entire railway space from the last couple of days have suddenly got into action ahead of the budget too. Akshay, what would your view be on both these stocks?
Well, first of all, yes, rail might see some bit of a pullback, but really looking at the past budgets, always the rail or the fertilizer theme always picked up stronger traction than what the muted reaction recently has been in this sector. So somewhere, probably looking at the price action, it doesn't seem that these are the most favored stocks for the event. So the suggestion is, looking at the broader price structure, Titagar Rail, you should look to take an exit on the rail budget today, or probably after that. It is trading at a technical support price point of 900 from where it has recovered, but I don't see any more momentum picking up above the levels of 1100. So 1100 around is the level to take a close or an exit in this stock. And please, can you repeat the second name of the stock? I missed out.
So the second name is Titagarh Rail. This is
Yeah. Yeah.
from the railway space. Yeah.
So Titagar is an exit at 1100. I believe there was one
Okay.
more stock I'm missing on it.
No, there are only two
Uh,
stocks that
all
were
right. Okay.
asked.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope this has answered both your questions. Next, we have Avdesh Thakur's question, and this one is on Tata Motors. He wants to know whether a fresh entry is warranted at this point in time for a medium time frame. Now, Tata Motors, Akshay, we all know, came out with the earnings, and therefore a sharp reaction was there in the morning trade. We have slightly recovered from the morning lows of over 8%. Margin concerns have emerged on JLR. There is also muted demand on both commercial and passenger vehicles. And what pulled down the stock was Jeffrey's report that came out with a downgrade on the stock and a cut on target prices to 660 odd levels. Now, we do know for a long time this stock has been in a consolidative zone. Investors holding the stock at higher levels have been feeling stuck because the stock was not moving, and now this final earnings blow also came in onto the stock. What would you advise now?
Tata Motors, I think it's the sixth month that this stock has been continuously bearing the brunt of selling pressure. Now, results gave the final blow in yesterday's post market, and we are opening 5-6% down today. So that's the story. But from the current level where it trades, it's a very excellent buy. But this buy is only if you are trading from a short term perspective with a time horizon of 15 to 20 trading sessions. So somewhere the price is such highly oversold. There are some divergent signals on the charts that a recovery looks imminent. This recovery is for short term. Right now, the targets which we are working is with around 760 to 780. These are conservative targets, but that's the best case scenario we're working with right now. But the probability of a recovery from 680 odd levels is pretty high. So yes, if you are open to the trading perspective, you can go ahead and buy Tata Motors for the targets I mentioned. If it's a long-term investment you plan to make, then I believe it's better to approach the stock in tranches. Current level, you can invest 50% quantity at the current level, and in case going further, whenever that dip of around 650 odd levels is seen, maybe that happens 3 months, 6 months down the line. If we have a relief rally from here, that is the best point to add further into Tata Motors.
Okay, got that. I hope this has answered your question, Avdish, on Tata Motors, and for a lot of viewers who hold Tata Motors in their portfolios too. Next, we have Vinita Gupta's question. Says, "Good afternoon, Sakshi. Good afternoon to you, Vinita. Good to have you with us." She says, "Is it advisable to average Genus Power? I bought it at 380 odd levels, and could you also suggest target for the same? Genus Power bought at 380. Is it advisable to average at this point in time? Currently, the stock is at 319."
Venus Powers, yes, there has been some selling pressure, but broadly the longer term charts are still positive. So yes, if your question is about averaging and you have a minimum holding time frame of over 3 months, the question which you asked is about averaging. The answer is yes. 300 is a short term support. I believe somewhere the stock will make a strong attempt to form a bottom around the levels of 275, 300. It's already shown that recovery in this week, and that's a good point to average. And from a longer term, it continues to be a hold.
Okay, got that. So I hope this has also answered your question, Vinita. Next, we have a question coming in from Ankur Modi. Says, "Hi Sakshi, hope you're doing good. Thank you so much, Ankur, for asking. I'm doing well, and I hope the same for you." Says, "Can I buy Sagility and Afcon Infra at the current levels for the long term? The company is getting a lot of orders. Sagility has been in momentum, but again, very less charts for you to really look at, and historically, the space is not giving you much to study. And Afcon Infra is another one. Both, in fact, are one of the recently listed stocks. What would you say? Today, there is a 5% uptick on Sagility, so it's on a circuit, and Afcons is about 2 tenths% higher in trade today, Akshay.
Yes, so the limitation is limited data for me in both the stock, but I believe firstly for Sagility, whatever the limited 7 to 8 weekly data pieces I have in front of me, it looks as a good setup. So right now my target projection is limited till 57 to 58. That's the point from where the stock corrected. For longer term investment, I would suggest that it's better to take a review from your fundamental financial advisor. But given a choice between Afghans and Sagility, I think Sagility is the preferred pick on the price chart front to buy or hold at the current levels.
Okay, got that. I hope this has given you some clarity. Next, Avnish Chaudhary writes in, says, "Hi Sakshi, I want to know on Inox Wind and NTPC Green Energy, क्या किस लेवल पर एंट्री लिया जाए इन दोनों स्टॉक्स पे? Inox Wind has been in clear momentum. Yesterday a 20% circuit, today also about 5% higher. I think the entire renewable energy space is also buzzing, Akshay, ahead of the budget. You have some solar stocks also that are buzzing in trade today. What would you really say? It's also come down a bit. I think it went up and it's now about 2% lower. Inox Wind 158 currently. Would you advise?
Yeah, so Inox Wind Energy, yes, I would advise to build your positions at the current levels. Now the only question here is how long can you give the time? You have to be minimum invested for over a year if you are planning to buy it at the current rate. So the price setup from a longer term perspective is very strong. It is just that the short term has been a pain point for most of the small and mid cap space. But as you rightly mentioned, green energy is going to be a big theme. Probably in the budget, how much impact it makes is a slight question mark. But from a longer term perspective, yes, it's a sector to be in. So Inox Wind Energy, definitely you can consider buying and holding from the present levels.
Okay, hope that's also given you some clarity on what to do with the renewable energy space stocks right now. Next, we have a question from Neha Jain. Says, "Hi Sakshi, good afternoon." Good afternoon, Neha. How are you? She says, "I want to take a view on the chemical sector, and is it the right time to add some stocks from this sector in the portfolio? And could you also suggest any stocks?" Okay, we'll get you an review right here. I think specialty chemicals also there is some buzz, and Ami Organics kind of stocks are again buzzing in trade from the last 2 3 days. What is your own view overall on the chemical sector right now? It's been a volatile one. There's been no clarity, but do you think the budget could actually come in with some fresh trigger on this one? Which stock would you prefer?
Yes, chemicals is a buzzing space, and if
Yeah.
you're keen on the investment perspective, you should keep a watch on SRF. Now, SRF is a stock which is technically very strong. One of the reasons being that if you look at the consolidation or the time which the stock has spent, I think it's almost from 2022. It's been in a range. It gets buying demand every time it hits the levels of 2200, and it sets up for a breakout. And every time the breakout has failed multiple times, once it nears the level of 2700, similar to like what you saw Bajaj Finance. So a very powerful breakout is in the making. This may happen immediately on the budget day or slightly after that, but the targets of 3200 are in the making. So definitely an investment candidate to be on your radar. SRF is the best name I can look forward to. And from a momentum perspective, if you are keen on a short term trade, you can look at UPL, which is around 576. I think this is trying to form a bottom at 500 and stage a recovery. 650, 675 can be the short term targets you can look forward to. So SRF is my best preferred pick. Just give it some time and you will see the results being delivered.
Okay, got that. Let's take in some other questions then. We have Chandan writing in. He says on Bajaj Finance at the rate of 6400, he has a position. Should he hold or book profits now? He's from Hubli in Karnataka. Okay, Chandan ji, we'll get you a view. Again, earnings came through and we did see an uptick right there. Brokerage houses are also giving higher targets upwards of 9,000 odd for the stock right now. 2.7% higher at 7967 currently for Bajaj Finance. Our viewer has bought this at 6400. Good enough time to book profits, or should one stay put here?
Uh, this stock is very positive or strong on the price structure because irrespective of what's happening around in the market, this has been resilient. When the markets recovered, this stock recovered hard. And if you look at the broader price structure, from 2022, multiple times there has been some resistance at the levels of 7900 to 8000 zone. So yes, post results on strong numbers, we have tested the resistance once again. This is the fifth time which the stock is testing its resistance. So the breakout happens today, tomorrow, or after few trading sessions is the question mark. My suggestion is you have got this stock at a very good price point. So might as well you take out half the profits or book half the quantity in the stock because it's a resistance zone. You have to respect that technically. And the sense is looking at the broader price setup, it is heading for 9500. So the remainder of the quantity, you are going to hold it. Time horizon should be minimum 6 months, and 9500 is the target you can look forward to.
Okay, got that. Hope this is also advised. The advice you've got is something that you will adhere to. Let's take the next one. This is from Mohit Yadav. He says, वोल्टाम ट्रांसफॉर्मर पर सर आपका क्या व्यू है? 5 साल के लिए अगर इसमें निवेश करना हो, क्या ये सही समय है? वोल्टाम ट्रांसफॉर्मर, again a stock which has been buzzing in the last 1 or 2 days odd. What would you say here?
It's been buzzing, but if you look at the month-on-month price action, I think there has been a tremendous price correction. So somewhere there is sanity, there is some respite buying which we have seen since yesterday in Voltamp. So this is, I believe, this is short-lived. This is more of a relief rally pullback, and really from the longer-term perspective, the charts are in bad shape. So the advice is looking for a better exit from the current levels. So better exit would be a slight recovery which further sees levels of 8600, 8650. I think it's better to move out from the stock at those levels.
Okay, I hope this has also given you enough clarity as to why you should be looking to exit this one. Let's go across to a caller who is with us on the phone line now. Gaurav is with us from Agra. Hi Gaurav, how are you? Good afternoon.
नमस्ते मैडम, मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ और आपका शो मुझे बहुत पसंद है। मैं आपसे कई बार बात कर चुका हूँ। आज मेरा सवाल मतलब एक तो बीईएल का मैंने पूछा था पहले, जो पर उस पर मेरा सवाल नहीं है, वो ऊपर हो जाएगा जब भी देखी जाएगी। पर मेरा पहला सवाल ये है कि टाटा मोटर्स को कहाँ खरीदना चाहिए, मैं सोच रहा हूँ आज खरीदने की। और दूसरा, जियो फाइनेंस का और नीचे जाएगा कुछ शेयर हैं या फिर और बाय कर लूँ?
ओके गौरव जी जी आप कई बार सवाल पूछ चुके हैं और बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपने हमारे चैनल के बारे में बोला कि ये शो काफ़ी आपको पसंद है, आप रेगुलरली देखते भी हैं। उम्मीद करते हैं जो भी हमारे गेस्ट आ रहे हैं आपको सही एडवाइस कर रहे हैं और आपको फ़ायदा हो रहा है उस एडवाइस से। सबसे पहले तो टाटा मोटर्स के ऊपर ही इनका सवाल है। गौरव जी, अभी थोड़ी देर पहले अक्षय जी ने टाटा मोटर्स का एक सवाल लिया जहाँ पर उन्होंने कहा कि करंटली अगर आप लेना है तो आपको थोड़ा पार्शली इनपुट करना पड़ेगा, अभी थोड़ा ले लें और उसके बाद अगर ये स्टॉक 650 के करीब आता है आप तब यहाँ पर और निवेश कर सकते हैं, वो बढ़िया पॉइंट होगा आपके लिए लेने के लिए। जो मैं एक बार फिर से भी ये सवाल रूट कर देती हूँ अक्षय जी आपकी तरफ कि किस तरीके से अभी टाटा मोटर्स को फ्रेश इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के लिए देखा जाए, और दूसरा इनका जो सवाल था वो बीईएल के ऊपर था जहां पर अभी थोड़ा सा वीकनेस इनको नज़र आ रही है, क्या यहाँ पर जल्द ही रिवर्सल की उम्मीदें हैं?
जी, तो टाटा मोटर्स काफ़ी ओवरसोल्ड है, उसके चलते आप कभी भी एक रिकवरी वाली रैली यहाँ से एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं। नतीजे खराब थे, उसके चलते आज डाउन है, बट यहाँ से और वन वे डाउन जाने की गुंजाइश कम है, तो उसके चलते एक रिकवरी रैली है। तो बेस यहीं पे बनेगा या लॉन्गर टर्म बेस 650 बनेगा, वो हल्का सा क्वेश्चन मार्क रहेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ से अगर उछलता है तो एक बार आपको 800 810 तक भी दिख सकता है, पर उसका मतलब नहीं होगा कि यहाँ से वापस नीचे आएगा ही नहीं। तो इसके लिए एक ट्रांचेस में बाय करने वाली रिकमेंडेशन है, जहाँ पे अभी आप जो भी आप निवेश करना चाहे, आधी पूंजी आप करंट मार्केट पे इन्वेस्ट कर ले टाटा मोटर्स में, और बाई चांस कभी भी आगे चल के मौका 650 पे मिलता है तो वहाँ पे पूरा आप पूंजी अपना निवेश कर ले। टारगेट एरिया में देख रहा हूँ 810, ये आपका ट्रेडिंग टारगेट रहेगा, और वहाँ पे कुछ स्ट्रॉन्गर प्राइस पैटर्न बने तो फिर हायर टारगेट की प्रिडिक्शन करेंगे। तो फिलहाल 800 से 810 ये मेरा प्राइस प्रोजेक्शन है। और जियो फाइनेंस, इफ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन, ये आपका दूसरा सवाल था, तो इसे आप बाय ना करें, ये मेरी राय रहेगी। ओवरसोल्ड है, रिकवरी रैली मिलेगी, बाउंस बैक जरूर मिलेगा, 260 तक भी रिकवरी रैली मिलेगी, बट स्टॉक क्लियरली नेगेटिव है प्राइस चार्ट पे। अगर 200 210 जहां से ये लिस्टिंग के बाद चला था वो भाव आपको दिख जाते हैं, वो वहां पे आप वापस निवेश करने की सोच सकते हैं।
ओके गौरव जी, उम्मीद करते हैं आपको सभी तीनों ही सवालों के जवाब यहाँ पर आपको मिल गए होंगे और इस एडवाइस को आप ज़रूर फॉलो करें, और डेफिनेटली आप वापस आएँ जब एक बार आपको रिव्यू करना हो अक्षय के साथ, वापस इस शो पर जुड़ सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास सवाल है ये कृष्णा अर्जुन राव का, बहरामपुर ओडिशा से। ही सेज, गुड आफ्टरनून साक्षी, आई एम थैंकफुल टू यू एंड द एंटायर टीम ऑफ बिजनेस टुडे टेलीविजन। आई कीप ऑन सेंडिंग माई क्वेरीज एंड आई एम गेटिंग द एडवाइस ऑन देम एज वेल. Thank you, Krishna Arjun Rao. I'm glad that you're watching the show regularly and you are getting helpful advice on your questions. Today, he's asked on two stocks, Akshay. One is Tech Mahindra. He has this stock at 1736. And the other one is Nykaa, where his purchase price is 214. Completely different sectors, and he has a medium term view and he wants to know whether he should exit or hold on. So from for Nykaa, from 214 it's come down to 169 right now. He's holding on to losses. And when we talk about Tech Mahindra, he's been holding 50 shares here at the rate of 1736. This has also come down at 1690. What would you say?
So first, taking up Tech Mahindra. Well, on the price charts, if you have seen the price action in somewhere in October 2022, we exactly saw the levels of somewhere around 1750, 1800 in Tech Mahindra, and from there you had a major corrective action. Obviously, the entire IT pack was down then, but those are the areas from where the stock is vulnerable for some bit of a corrective action. Recently, a few weeks back, again the same pattern is repeated from the levels of 1750, 1800. Once again, selling pressure has been seen in the stock, and right now it is in a phase where it is trying to regain its lost ground. So my suggestion is here: if you have bought it slightly, you are in a loss, you need to keep a revised stop loss approach in this particular stock. The stop loss will be 1575. This is stop loss from a medium term 3 month plus perspective. So hold. Currently, there is no negative major development. It is making a reattempt to get past 1800. But in case it fails, then you need to have some risk management in place, for which I'm advising a stop loss of 1575. So hold with a stop loss of 1575 is the recommendation for Tech Mahindra. I believe the other one is Nykaa, and
Yes.
here Nykaa is in a FSNE e-commerce is the name of the stock. It's been range bound, not able to pick up volumes on the higher side. On supply are more. So this stock is going to be negative. It's just I'll give you a stop loss. You need to hold it with a stop loss. I'm not very keen on a major upside in this stock. So keep a stop of 160 for the time being. If it recovers till 185, 190, take an exit in the stock.
Fair point right there. Thank you so much, Akshay, for advising all of the insights for all our viewers with their questions. It's always a pleasure to have you, and most of our viewers also continue to appreciate all the advice that you share with them. So we thank you for coming week on week to help them out in their investment journey. And we'll be catching you soon after the budget now to get a sense of where exactly should the new strategies be made. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you so much for being with us today. Viewers will now get into the second part of our show, and this is where we welcome another guest to take up the rest of your queries as well. Ruchit Jain, Vice President and Head of Equity Technical Research Wealth Management at Motilal Oswal Financial Services, is now joining in. Hi, Ruchit. Warm welcome. Good to have you with us. Good to see some green on the screen finally. 23,280 now. We are 120 points higher. So slowly and gradually, we've inched our way up right ahead of the budget to save some blushes. But the expectations are also rising high. What is your own suggestion first on the expiry session today on the Nifty and for the next couple of days ahead of the budget?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon, Sakshi. Sakshi, if we see then a pullback move at least would due before the budget because if we look at the global factors, that is bond yield and the US 10-year bond yield and the dollar index, they have seen a cool off in last 8 to 10 trading sessions where the dollar index has seen an cool off from 110 to about 107, 107.50 now. And these were mainly the factors since the month of October, due to which our markets went into that long corrective phase. So I think these are the factors which are positive for the equity markets, and hence we have seen this pullback. But there's a big event lying ahead of us. First is the union budget, then would be the RBI policy. So one thing is sure that the markets are going to face a lot of volatility during these events. So we are advising our customers also to look for take a buy and dip approach rather than chasing the stocks after a pullback move. Initially, the 20-day exponential moving average resistance is around 23,300 itself. Right now, we are trading around that. So if it manages to surpass that, then we could see some pullback move towards 23,450 to 20,500. But on dips, I think a good support base has been formed around this 22,800 to 700 range. So in case if we see any kind of dips in such volatile times going ahead because of the event, then take that dip as a buying opportunity rather than chasing now.
Okay, got that. So that's the overall view. We have a lot of questions coming in. So, Rujit, we'll start taking them one by one for you. We have Peter Raj writing in. He says, hi, ma'am, I'm holding Birla Soft at 640 levels. Can I average at the current price? I'm in a long time investor for the long term. So, could you please help me understand? 532 currently. So, it's fallen off his purchase price of 640. Right time to average, or should one wait for further dips?
Won't suggest averaging at current levels because if you look at the stock in last few months, it has been a relative underperformer within the entire IT basket. When the IT space was doing good, we have not seen any buying interest coming in the Birla stock. So overall, until we see signs of strength coming in the stock itself, where price volume action turns bullish, I think it's better to just wait and watch with the existing positions and wait for a pullback move. Rather than averaging at current levels, major support. If I'm looking a bit on the long-term charts, on the weekly charts are somewhere around 475 where the weekly 200 EMA is placed. So I'm not sure it will go there, but in case you will panic if you get that levels, then that could be good levels to average out your positions. Otherwise, for timing out, just only holding the existing positions.
Got that. Okay. Let's take another one. This one is from Gul. She's from Kerala. And Gul says that I have Canara Bank 200 shares purchased at 92.5 levels. I have a short term view on this. Could you please suggest me a short term target on Can Bank? Some of the smaller banks have been showing us some momentum in the last couple of days. Your sense on Can Bank, bought at 92.5, currently at 91.5. What would you say?
In the last 2 3 days of markets pullback, we have not seen any participation coming in from the PSU banking space as of now. So for now, when the market is going up, still if the stocks are not rallying, there is not much good sign. And the immediate resistance for the stock is still around 96. So until we see stocks surpassing that 95 and a half, 96 mark, I think we should see a relative underperformance getting continued. So if you get any such pullback move towards the resistance area, then you can look to lighten up the positions. The previous swing low for the stock was around 88, 87.80. So that would be seen as a crucial support for this stock.
Okay, got that. We'll take another question now. This is from Lavi Agarwal from Nainital in Uttarakhand. Warm welcome, Lavi, to the show. I am seeing your question for the first time. He says, I have bought Vedanta shares as of 30th of January. Then I want to know for the demerger of the shares of Vedanta, what is the record date? Okay, so you should know, Lavi, that on 17th of January, Vedanta had announced that they will be holding virtual meetings with all stakeholders on February 18th in the next month as part of the ongoing demerger, and this is when they will be deciding the final record date. And the plan is to split the aluminium, oil and gas, power, steel, base metals along with the existing listed entity. And however, in December they planned to retain the base metals within Vedanta, and once the business matures, only then they will be getting it. So as a shareholder of Vedanta, you will be set to receive one share of each of the demerged entity as on the record date as well. But so far we do not have the information on what the record date will be. Once the meeting takes place on February 18 is when we are likely to understand what happens here. Ruchit, any suggestion on Vedanta as of now that you'd like to have?
I think if I look on the charts, then the overall long-term trend for the stock still remains positive. We have seen that whenever the stock comes around that 400 mark, there's a very strong support base over there, 400 to 380. So I think your price-wise downside seems to be limited for time being.
Okay. We'll take some other questions now. We have this question coming in from Sandeep Pancharya. He says on NCC he holds 200 shares at the rate of 275. Should I hold or exit? Even though I'm a long-term investor, if you think that it will outperform. NCC currently 2.5% higher at 242. Any suggestion here?
The stock has corrected along with the broader markets in last 4 or 5 months, but no, I think these are not the prices where you should look to think of exiting the stock. The daily charts on the daily charts itself, the RSI has given a positive crossover from the oversold zone, so at least a pullback move could be expected over here. Now the resistance for the stock would come around 270 to 275. So I would advise to have some patience and wait for a pullback at least towards that level. I think which is around your cost price itself. Around those price, you can again take a review on the stock.
Got it. Next, we have this question from Momita from Kolkata. Says, hi Sakshi, will it be a good time to add BSE shares? I already have an existing position at 2433 and I have this for the long term in my portfolio. So, can I continue to add at the current levels? So, Momita, first up, congratulations. You're already sitting on good amount of profits. You took an early entry at 2433 and despite the recent consolidation, you are still maintaining your good profits. Let's ask Ruchit. Ruchit, does it make sense to average on the way up at this level?
I would recommend at these levels, because there have been some corrective phases within an uptrend in last couple of weeks. Although the longer term trend still remains positive, but I think that the major support for the stock is as of now placed around 4,600, 4,700 range. So yes, but existing positions can be held because the overall trend for the stock still remains positive. Maybe if averaging won't be recommended, but hold recommendation would be there on your existing positions.
Hold. Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Let's take another one. Mohit from Ludhiana writes in. He says, I have 2000 shares of Trident at the rate of 3.9 rupees. So he bought the stock when it was an absolute penny stock. His time horizon is 2 years and he wants to know whether he can continue to hold on and what should his view be. Today the stock is at 30.7. It's moved up again and he took a very early entry, so he's sitting on good amount of profits right here on Trident. Ruchit, do you track this stock? Would you advise continuing to hold on or should one book profits and stay put?
If he definitely his buy price is very good and hence he has a good margin of safety for this stock. But if you look at the stock since the last couple of years, the stock has not participated in the move during the month during 2024 as well. And even right now there are no signs of an uptrend because whenever we see pullback moves at high levels, we do witness some selling pressure. So I would recommend to keep a sell on rise strategy for the stock. 34, 35 would be the resistance range. If you get over there, I think you can look to book profits and look for some other stock where you can make relatively better returns.
Got that. Okay. Let's take another question then. This is from one of our YouTube viewers. And his question is Samvit Nageshwar writes in, says, good afternoon. Could you please suggest any stocks for the short term in this volatile market? Okay. So the ball is in your court, Ruchit. In this volatile market, difficult for some of our viewers to pick stocks. What would your suggestion be?
Within the private sector banks, we do like Kotak Bank from a short-term perspective. If you're looking from next 1 to 2 months perspective, primarily if you see the stock has seen a long consolidation phase and recently post its numbers, the stock did give a breakout from its consolidation with very good volumes. Now, whenever we see such good price volume action, we could see a relative outperformance, in the stock going ahead. So I think here downside now seems to very limited. The stock has already seen a consolidation phase of about, I think, 3 to 4 years. So this is a good opportunity where, in case if we see a follow buying post the breakout, then we could see levels around 2100 to 2120. So at current levels, if one has to buy fresh, then Kotak would be recommended with stop loss below 1800 for potential targets around 2100 levels.
Okay, got that. Let's take the next question. We have a viewer with us on the phone line now. Kalpesh Patel from Mumbai is with us on the phone line. Hi Kalpesh, good afternoon. कैसे हैं आप?
गुड आफ्टरनून। मैं एकदम बढ़िया हूँ। आप कैसे हैं?
मैं ठीक हूँ। बताइए क्या सवाल है आज का?
मैंने ट्यूब इन्वेस्टमेंट सेल किया हुआ है एट द रेट 3100, यही तो 2650 तक आ सकता है। और आज 1880 टैक्स सेल किया है 1437 में। क्या ये 1360 तक आ सकता है फ्यूचर?
ओके, दो स्टॉक्स को इन्होंने शॉर्ट सेल किया है फरवरी फ्यूचर्स के लिए। पहला है ट्यूब इन्वेस्टमेंट्स 3100 के भाव पर। जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या ये स्टॉक 2700 2600 के आसपास आ सकता है नीचे में। दूसरा केपीआईटी टेक, बढ़िया नतीजे और 2 दिनों से लगातार मोमेंटम में ये स्टॉक, लेकिन यहाँ पर भी शॉर्ट सेल किया है 1437 पर। यहाँ पर भी क्या व्यू रहेगा दोनों स्टॉक्स पर?
दोनों स्टॉक देखें तो ऑलरेडी करेक्टिव फेज प्राइस जैसे स्टॉक्स में आ चुके हैं। और कल केपीआईटी टेक में हमने देखा कि रिजल्ट के बाद में जब मैनेजमेंट की कमेंट भी आए तो लो लेवल से काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग बाइंग इंटरेस्ट था। तो मुझे लगता है कि उसके कारण स्टॉक में डाउनसाइड अब लिमिटेड रहेगी। और इवन ट्यूब इन्वेस्टमेंट में ऑल्दो एक डाउन ट्रेंड में है स्टॉक, बट काफी ओवरसोल्ड सेटअप से है और यहाँ पे शॉर्ट पोजीशंस होल्ड करना नो, आई वोंट सजेस्ट ओवर हियर। सो दोनों स्टॉक्स में आई थिंक पुल बैक मूव्स रह सकते हैं। सो आई वुड सजेस्ट एग्जिटिंग द स्टॉक पोजीशंस ऑफ दिस both these names.
Okay, got that. Let's take another one then. We have Mr. Khadir Anwar writing in. He says, I have BDL or Bharat Dynamics shares in my portfolio. I bought it at 905. Should I hold or sell?
So recommend to hold on the stock because of late the stock, most of the defense stocks have seen some correction over last 5 to 6 months. But media relatively has started showing some strength and a height of high bottom structure is being seen on the daily charts. So here I think yes, some short-term volatility could be there because of the budget, but here I believe that downside seems to be very limited. And once this some volatility subsides, then we could see the stock resuming its broader uptrend. So hold on to BTL. You should get good returns from current levels too.
Okay, got that. Let's take another question. This is from Satya, and he says, my question is on CAMS. I need an entry level for long term on CAMS.
So most of the platform stocks, capital market related stocks, have seen some correction in last 1.5 weeks. But it seems more, because of what we have seen, the stocks have already seen a good run, so some profit booking is happening over there. If we see CAMS, the stock has reached its important support recently, and on the weekly chart, next support levels for the stock coming around 3200 to 3400 range. So I think, wait for now around 3200, 3400 range. If comes, then you can take a review for fresh buying over there.
Okay. We have another question from Gunjan. She says, I'm a big fan of Ruchit sir and I want to request him for a view on PTC India. I have this stock at 198 or Power Grid also, which I have it at 320. So from both these, should I hold or exit? And could you also tell me the levels if I have to exit? So your fan writes there, Ruchit. Gunjan wants you to help her out on PTC India and on Power Grid. What would you say?
Thank you very much, Kundan. Power Grid, I think you should hold on, but definitely this is one stock which is not a very high return name. Moves a bit slowly. Of late it has corrected along with the broader markets, but these are not the levels where you should look to book losses. I think have some patience post budget in case if we see some positivity over the markets, then we could see Power Grid returning to its up move. So hold on Power Grid, but have some patience of maybe around 2 to 3 months at least. Then you can take a review again on the stock. PTC India, overall, I think the stock has seen some relative underperformance, but again, here also on pullback moves, 155 to 160 will be the good levels where in case if you are to take an exit, then you should look to exit or take a review over that depending upon how the price volume action will shape up for its happens. Some short-term volatility, I think over next 1 week could be there in PTC India too, where some price where another correction or another dip could be seen. But I would suggest to have some patience and hold on for a possible pullback towards 155, 160.
Right, Ruchit. Well, we'll stop taking the queries right here, viewers, and we will invite all the questions that are still coming in for you to please send in your questions now tomorrow again because time's run out, and we're going to be now also getting you some interesting conversations around earnings and budget as well. But thank you so much for sending in your questions, and Ruchit, thank you for answering them patiently and helping all our viewers right out. Hopefully, the budget will answer a lot of prayers right there, and the markets will further gain momentum from here, and then we will get into another phase of stock spotting right now. Thank you so much for being with us, viewers, on this edition of Daily Calls. But do stay tuned. Business Today Television is continuously getting you exciting conversations around the budget, earnings, and markets throughout the course of the day and up until the budget as well. So stay tuned.